What up, all my fight fans? We got ourselves some breaking news today. We got ourselves a fight August 5th. We got ourselves Nate Diaz taking on Jake Paul in his professional boxing debut. Guys, we all anticipated this fight was going to happen. We all pretty much knew that this was going to be a Nate Diaz go-to once he left the UFC, and now it actually has happened. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot sooner, but I think Jake Paul, with him taking on Tommy Fury, I think it was back in February, kind of like sidelined Nate Diaz's plans a little bit. But at the end of the day, this fight is coming into fruition, and we finally get to see him box. You know, they've been talking back and forth for a very long time. You know, Nate Diaz has wanted this fight since last year. But, you know, Dana White just did not want to work with Jake Paul and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you know, Nate Diaz had his last fight last September against Tony Ferguson. It was supposed to be Khamzat Chimaev. You know, he finally left the company. He was a free agent, and now he finally gets to take on Jake Paul in a big boxing payday, I'm sure. Probably the biggest payday of his career. I'm sure that's going to be definitely going to be talked about in the press conference, and I'm very much looking forward to that, because you do not want to trash talk with Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz can trash talk with the best of them. Nate Diaz can definitely go back and forth. I'm very much looking forward to this fight, because, you know, we saw what Jake Paul is, and at first we used to be like, oh my God, Jake Paul, really? This guy's going up against pros, this and that. You know what? At the end of the day, you got to give the guy credit. He does got hands. You know, he was able to put down Anderson Silva, even though Anderson Silva was old. He fought a lot of past their prime fighters, and he fought a lot of fighters who weren't really necessarily boxers, or didn't really have too much boxing skill, like a Tyron Woodley or Ben Askren. But at the end of the day, he did step in the ring with them. He did step in there and prove some of his skills and whatnot, and showed us like, hey, he actually does got some type of, you know, little skill. It may not be at that level like he wants it to be, like going against a Canelo Alvarez and whatnot, but guys like this, like a Nate Diaz, he might be able to hold his own just a little bit. You know, I'm sure a lot of people, I remember hearing about it in different outlets and MMA outlets, talking about like, oh, well, Nate Diaz, I feel like Jake Paul could smoke Nate Diaz. Like, hey, you got to remember, Nate Diaz, he has a chin. Nate Diaz has hands. Nate Diaz is probably far one of the best strikers in MMA. It would actually be a very fun fight to see these guys match up. I really think this is going to be a great matchup for these guys. I'm interested to see where the weight's going to be at. You know, because Nate Diaz, his biggest weight that he's ever fought at was 170. So I don't see him really necessarily going up to almost 200 pounds. I mean, I'm not sure what his walk-around weight is at. And Nate Diaz is a cardio machine. He loves doing cardio. He loves running. He loves triathlons, marathons, and all that and whatnot. So I don't see him trying to just walk in there and without really properly training his cardio. I really don't see that being a possibility, but you never know. But as far as the weight goes, they haven't really said much. As far as where it's at, I don't think I even heard that much. But I do know the fight was just announced today. You got the picture, you got the poster and whatnot. I'm sure you guys saw it all over social media. You can look at it and you'll see it right now on the internet. It's booming, it's popping. I'm very much looking forward to this, guys, and I know you guys are. And I will break this fight down as we continue to get close. So definitely tune in, guys. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.